I will take the liberty of welcoming you all to this LinkedIn workshop for professionals who want to sound like their actual selves and not have all of their content on LinkedIn sound like it was just spit out by ChatGPT. They want to use it to connect with people, build relationships, and be more present on the platform. So that's why we're doing this. Before we get rolling, I want to thank everybody again for joining us today. So we're going to get started. I hope that you guys won't mind. I tried to put this all in like a polished slide deck. Long story short, it didn't work out. What I'm going to do is just start and stop this video as much as I need to. This is scientifically sound yet heartfelt LinkedIn content, showing you how to use AI and the LinkedIn algorithm to turn your brain dump into content that actually achieves your goals. Now, fair warning, this is going to be a lot of information. This is not going to be, sorry, you're not going to want to try and focus on taking notes the whole time. It's my taskbar. You're just going to see my taskbar, I guess. You're not going to want to try and take notes the whole time. I'm going to be delivering this information later. Just try to listen and observe, because the information here is going to get extremely dense, and the best thing you can do is just listen and learn. And if you have a question that can't wait until the question and answer periods, which there will be 4 after each step, just call out point of order, and I'll stop and answer your question as best I can. So before we get started, any questions? All right, well, let's get rolling. This is a sped up visual demonstration, meaning that this is an actual recording of something that I did with a client. Now remember, never just use whatever your AI tool gives you and slap it on your LinkedIn. It's a mistake. Always make sure that you're applying human adjustments and reading it out loud to yourself, doing something to make sure that you're giving at least a once over to the content. And please remember, there is no such thing as the algorithm. It's a series of different functions that the engineers at LinkedIn have developed to make the content that is most beneficial to its users get more airtime and reach more people. And it rewards content that is well composed and structurally sound and relevant, and does not reward other things. Sometimes it even depresses other things. The most important and valuable thing you can do on LinkedIn is to comment, participate, and engage on the platform. The more you do that, the more LinkedIn will promote your things and put you on the suggested for you pages of other people in your network. So step 1 is how to build your brand voice document. You feed your favorite AI tool information to help it sound like you. You're going to start by taking a transcript from an important conversation with a person or with yourself or with your client, whoever you're writing about, where they discussed their interest and the personality was captured. Download it as a PDF, because AI tools tend to read that better than a Word document, and you'll just have less failure. This is my actual process. Like I said, when I did this, I used Perplexity. I just find it to be better than ChatGPT in most ways. You want to take the time to make a new space and keep things consistent from prompt to prompt. You're going to upload the transcript and explain the context, that this is a meeting with so-and-so people. Right here, you can see what I actually wrote in the prompt here. So you want your AI tool to focus on the conversation and the contributions by the subject, by the person, whether that's you or whether that's your client. The more context you give it and the more clear you are, the better it's going to perform for you. So in this case, I'm telling it what our goal is, but I'm not asking it to prepare the brand voice document for me. It's laying a foundation and starting out the process, describing what Alex's personality is and what's important to him in his business. I should mention Alex Romero was my model. He sat with me on the computer recording this session so we could go through this process together. He is the CEO of Sentient Info, an AI service that helps develop custom chatbots for enterprise level companies. So I'm asking AI to tell me what's important to him, what matters to him, what are his interests as a person and as a service provider, and what kind of things he does that are relevant to what's going to be. So on LinkedIn, it doesn't do you any good at all to just talk about your company, talk about Sentient Info, talk about ABC Company. You have to be giving it value. So now I'm giving it the link to the company's website so that it can get some information, and I'm prompting it to tell me what services they provide. I already know what services they provide, but I want Perplexity or whatever AI tool you use to tell me so that I can be sure that it's accurate and I can be sure that it's extracting the right information. And the more clear you are, the more it's going to be able to do what you want it to do. So I double check the result and it's right. The next thing we're going to do is get more information about Alex. We're going to expand all the areas in his LinkedIn profile and take a screen capture. If you use the Go Full Page tool, it's free. Sometimes you have to uninstall it and reinstall it again, but very good for taking just full screenshots of what you need. So you're going to take that screenshot and you're going to download it as a PDF, just like you did with the transcript. And you're going to tell your tool to extract new information from the LinkedIn profile that you didn't already have. Now, at the time when this demo was recorded 6 months ago, Perplexity was a little different. You could upload and take off certain attachments and it wouldn't remember them in the thread unless you told it to. Now it remembers them in the thread and doesn't give you the opportunity to take them off, but that's okay. You just tell it to focus on what you want it to focus on. So all we're doing is continuing to build layers, continuing to extract information about Alex to build the brand voice document. Now watch it while it's thinking. Make sure that it's using the sources you asked it to use. Make sure it's using the LinkedIn profile. You see, it made a mistake. It used other sources. So we're going to check those other sources. In this case, it did use other sources. It didn't really follow our direction to only use the LinkedIn profile, but it didn't hurt anything because there's only one reference to some other person named Alex who's a golf player, and it doesn't harm anything. I don't know, maybe Alex plays golf, maybe he has a secret identity. But the next step is to remove the LinkedIn profile and ask it what should be included in a brand voice document. I'm a professional marketer specializing in B2B content marketing. I already know what should be included in a brand voice document, but I want to make sure that Perplexity tells me true, that tells me what it's supposed to be. It adds yet another layer of understanding to the thread. This is where we have to be really careful. We want to make sure we're being meticulous at every step so that it does what we tell it to do the way we tell it to do it. It made a mistake. I didn't ask it to make me the brand voice document based on just the LinkedIn profile and just the transcript. It did that by itself. I have the choice now where I can edit the prompt or I can ask it to correct itself. I choose to ask it to correct itself. The reason that I'm doing that is because I want it to see that it didn't follow instructions and it'll be more careful. So you can see on the other side here what I'm actually writing, what the prompt is. I'm asking it to limit its response to just what I asked it for, and it gave me a much better result. It's telling me what is supposed to be in a brand voice document. The next step is to tell me what should be in a company brand voice document. There's a very big difference in how a person communicates on LinkedIn and how a company communicates on LinkedIn. Not to mention the algorithm treats both sources totally differently. And remember, people don't do business, like companies don't do business with companies. People at each company do business with each other. That's why we want to make sure that we're being distinctive. We want to make sure that we're giving our AI prompting material the tools to sound like a person, not like a company. It made another mistake. It just gave me the information about what should be in a brand voice document for Alex and what should be in a brand voice document for the company. That's not what I asked it to do. I got to make sure that it's listening to me. So this time I'm going to edit the prompt rather than re-prompt it and tell it to correct itself. And I'm going to give it more detailed instructions. So you can see here, I'm editing the prompt that I just gave it, asking to give me the information. And it did. It told me how a brand voice document from a person and a company should be different. So I review it and make sure that I'm happy enough. But it's still not specific the way I want it to, so I'm going to edit again. I'm going to help it understand what our goal is. I'm going to tell it, we're not asking for a shortcut. We're asking for you to give us the information so that we can implement quality control at every step. And I'm reminding it again, please just tell me what should be included. Now it's going to sense a twinge of frustration out of me, and its own systems are going to kick in to avoid its user being frustrated. And it's going to prevent further errors without me having to continue telling it to. You got to be really careful with your AI tools. Make sure they're doing their job. And because I took the time to do that, gave me something much better. Gave me exactly what I asked for. And it's paying more attention. So now all we need to do is just wrap up this session by asking it to double check itself. We're just asking it to double check between the transcripts, between the LinkedIn profile, with the information about the company from the website. Do you have all the information that you need to prepare these two different brand voice documents? I'm telling it, I'm not asking you to do it. Just tell me what other information you might need so I can give it to you. It confirms I have pretty much everything I need. So then I feed it back the LinkedIn profile and the transcript, or I would have when this was recorded. You see here that at the time that this was recorded, you could just X out of using certain attachments. And I'm going to ask it to make sure to reference these documents together in the next query. I'm still not asking it to make the brand voice documents. You got to be patient. I'm asking it to make sure, absolutely sure, that it's going to use everything I gave it, all the information in the thread, to go forward. And I'm telling it we're going to use this information in prompting documents to be used over and over and over again to get consistent results back. I already know the answer. I know it has everything it needs, but it understands that it does. So now I'm going to copy and paste the results that it gave me with what should be in a brand voice document for the company and for Alex. And I'm going to ask it to now please prepare the documents for me. Not to mention taking a screen capture of the company LinkedIn profile, because at this stage, go back just a second. At this stage, I've only really talked to it about Alex and what Alex's company does. Now I want to give it some more information about the company itself, because Alex's brand voice document is most important. But there still needs to be a distinct personality difference between Alex and the company. I guess I went back too far. There we go. So just like I did for Alex, I'm taking a screen capture of the LinkedIn profile for the company and giving it that information. It's different than what's on the website. It gave me exactly what I asked for. It gave me the brand voice document copy for Alex, do's and don'ts, sample messaging, everything that needs to be in there. And then it gave me the brand voice document for the company. Gave me just what I wanted. That's why we do this in layers, so that we can implement quality control. It's a pain in the butt and it takes time and energy now, but it makes sure that you have consistent, usable results at every step later. So we're going to copy these results and put them in a simple Google Doc. Take out anything that we don't want it to reference when we export the document. We're going to export. First, we're going to separate the brand voice documents by one for Alex and by one for Sentient Info, the company. Because we're going to have two different occasions when we're using the information. We don't want AI to get confused, and when we're doing something for Alex, start giving us stuff for Sentient Info. We're going to export them both as PDFs. Make sure that you name them correctly. Make sure you name them Alex Romero Brand Voice Document 2026, so forth and so on, so that when you have them uploaded later and saved to the space, it knows exactly what to get in order to answer your question and to do what you ask it to do. So I'm giving it back both brand voice documents, and I'm asking it, double check yourself. Make absolutely sure that these brand voice documents are as good as they possibly could be, that they're accurate, and if they're not, please tell me. It's very happy with the results, but it still has some recommendations for enhancements. So all I have to do here is copy its recommendations, put it back in the prompt, and say, can you please do this for me? Can you follow your own advice? That way, all I have to do is copy and paste the new result, rather than having to figure out in the brand voice document where to weave in the information. And it did. Gave me just what I needed. So we're going to export it directly from Perplexity, or if you want, you can go put it in the Google Doc and copy it over. This is your brand voice document. This is designed to let you use it for continuing to prompt AI as many times as you need to. That way you'll always get consistent results to make it sound like you. You can repeat it for the company if you like. Any questions about this method of developing a brand voice document?
A lot of layers.
A lot of layers. No questions? Okie doke. So we're going to move on to the next step, how to use AI to prepare your content roadmap. You're going to get the content pillars you need so that all your content will do its job. Its job being to make you an authoritative person on LinkedIn, to help you connect with your potential clients and with your target audience. So you're going to attach your brand new brand voice document to a new thread in the same Perplexity space. Go to the back end of your Perplexity space, take a screenshot of the settings, like so, and load it into the new thread. Don't know if you can tell there, but it says right there, image and brand voice document. So we're going to explain to Perplexity what we're doing and what the information it's going to give us is going to be used for. So that way your Perplexity space will always have the same settings, always have the same reference from occasion to occasion whenever you use it. You can see the prompt over here on the side. Copy the results, paste it right in there. Most important things anyway, it doesn't always remember all the context. But now, sorry, bear with me a second. Went back too far. You're going to watch it again, I guess. So now you can see up here that it has the settings saved. So every time we use the space for Alex Romero, it's telling me what to be doing. And it's got the additional context, the details in the Perplexity space too. So now we're ready to start preparing our strategy. Going to attach the transcript and tell it to who it should act like. We're the marketer, we're the person in charge of this, so we're not going to tell it to give us 5 content pillars. We're going to tell it to come up with 10, and we'll pick the ones we like, because AI is not the same as a professional marketer. It did what we asked. It picked 10 content pillars based on Alex's interest in the transcripts. For instance, AI-driven business transformations, building proprietary tools, applications and implementations for business leaders. Those are things that Alex should be talking about on LinkedIn over the course of the next year if he wants to reach his target audience and develop relationships that are going to result in more sales. So copy the results you agree with. Not all of them. You don't have to pick all 10. You can if you want, if you think they're all really, really good, but I don't recommend it. Pick between 5 and 8 or so that you think are the best. Remembering that marketing is a long process. You're going to be able to go back and do new content pillars after X amount of time if you're finding a gap in your expression of your knowledge. But we're not just preparing the information for organic LinkedIn. We're preparing the information for how it can be included for his website, his blogs, interviews, anything where B2B content marketing is a thing. This information is for that. So these are the selected content pillars. I picked 8 and I'm telling it, please expand on them. Just give me more information, give me more detail, give me more information about what those things would look like. It did exactly as we asked. Just gave us a little more fuel for our content roadmap. So now we're going to ask it to identify social post ideas for each content pillar for organic LinkedIn. Probably aren't going to use its recommendations because it doesn't really know what resources we have and what we don't. If it says, hey, here's a content idea of a video of Alex doing this, that, and the other, it doesn't know what we have. And it doesn't know what capacity we have. It doesn't know what our budget is for preparing content. So we're just getting some ideas here about what's going to be best for Alex. And it gave us exactly what we wanted. So now we're going to add our brain dump into it. I don't know if anyone else uses the phrase brain dump, but I do. All that really means is here's some totally unformatted pieces of information from inside my brain. Here's what I have to say on a certain subject. And this is something that only I know. This is something that I want to communicate to my audience. So we can copy and paste them if we already have them jotted down somewhere. We can come up with them in the moment, or we can have AI do it for us. It just depends on what you already have prepared. Make doubly sure, triple sure that you tell it, do not write the post for me yet. You're not asking it to write. It's not ready to write for you yet. Just give us the information. And you can see here, these are 4 different brain dumps that I worked with Alex to get in real time when we were recording this session, so that we can take the information that's actually in his head and turn it into LinkedIn posts. So behind the scenes, Alex agreed that these were very good elaborations on his brain dump. All they did was add more context, a little more information, a little more meat, and formatting for that matter, to his brain dump. So I can see as a marketer, I'm not him, I don't know everything that he knows, This tells me as a marketer more on the subject so I can prepare content for him. It worked. It did exactly what we wanted it to do. I'm perfectly happy with this information. So at this point, I would usually stop. I would create a whole content calendar, March 3rd, March 10th, April 2nd, April 9th, so forth and so on. Map out everything I want to do for the next year or 6 months, depending on how long the contract is. Marry that with product releases, with major announcements, with industry events, the good old, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, things like that, other relationship building things from his personal life. But that's a whole other demonstration for another time. It takes a lot. So I want to stop here and ask if anyone has any questions about this method to develop your content pillars.
This is fascinating.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're all mesmerized.
Well, good. But do you have any questions?
So Perplexity is the tool that you're using for this, or can you use anything else?
You can use any tool you want. I like Perplexity because I don't know if ChatGPT does it now, but at the time when ChatGPT would give you an answer, you couldn't really see where you got it without going down a couple of rabbit holes and breaking your train of thought. And Perplexity would show you right then and there where it got the information. So it's better for more methodical things, more research-based than ChatGPT. And I like that it has access to a lot of other modes like Claude, Sonar, Grok, Gemini. You'll see more about that later. But Perplexity, I think, is better for the kind of work that I do.
Are you teaching it how to navigate through the ideas, the brain dump stuff?
Yes, the next section is how to apply the actual LinkedIn information about the algorithm. And then I go into how to marry all this information together, your brand voice document, your content pillars, and the LinkedIn information. So the answer is yes, more to come. Does anyone's brain feel like a wrung out sponge?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot, I know.
Extremely fascinating, though. This really is remarkable.
I'm very glad you like it.
You are
Anybody else?
sending this out, right? You are sending this out?
It'll be on YouTube, and
Okay.
Frankly, I didn't have enough time to put together a, step-by-step
That's
for
okay.
this, but I will.
Okay,
Just
cool.
not today.
All right.
Okay. So the next step is to apply knowledge of the LinkedIn algorithm report. Just like we had to use AI to extract information and organize it for your brand voice and for your content pillars, we're also going to do the same thing for the LinkedIn algorithm, because we can't expect it to know as much as we know about the LinkedIn algorithm. And let me reiterate here. Your job is not to make content that is designed to specifically appease the algorithm. LinkedIn would spot that in a heartbeat, and it would depress your information. It does not like being manipulated, just like people don't. We are going to use LinkedIn's algorithm information to apply touches to make the authentic content that you're writing in your own voice perform better. And over time, the more you give the algorithm what it wants with your actually authentic content, and the more you engage and the more you please your audience and the more interested they are in your content, the better and better and better your content will perform, and the more connections and the more conversations you'll get from LinkedIn.
Not to go down a rabbit hole, but you had mentioned the more that your audience, likes the content. I'm just curious, do you have like specific, and maybe you said this earlier and I missed it, but do you have specific content for specific groups of people, or are you kind of doing it as like an overall like content strategy, if that makes sense?
This workshop is designed to give you a process to make your own LinkedIn content at scale.
Okay.
So this should apply to whatever. Jackie, what business are you in?
I do search marketing, so AI search
AI
marketing.
search marketing, SEO, AEO, GEO, all the EOs.
Correct.
And I don't know, Samantha, what industry are you in?
I'm in consulting.
Consulting. Okay, spoiler alert, I know Samantha. And the kind of consulting that she does is employee experience and customer
Mhm.
experience. So these same techniques would apply because she is applying the human oversight in the transcript. If she were making this brand voice document and developing these content pillars, they would be employee experience oriented, because just like Alex's stuff is AI bot and more large language model generative AI as a concept, that's what it would be for her. Ray, you have a question?
Yeah, I put a question in the chat. I wanted
Oh,
to see
sorry.
if you could address that now or later.
Sorry, I didn't see it. Yes, this will be recorded. It will be on.
No, that's not my question.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, it's the one above that, a couple above that. The longer one.
Ray asks, how much time does this all take? The better you do it up front, the less time it takes overall. For me, when I'm doing a client's LinkedIn, like say, Ray, you were my client, after I do all this stuff, prepare all the information, all the prompting material for you, it takes me about 6 or 8 hours once a month to make the bulk of your LinkedIn content for that month. And it just, a lot of people, they can do their own LinkedIn, they can do their own Instagram, they can do their own blogs, they can do their own this, that, or the other, but they don't. The reasons why they don't are different from person to person, circumstance to circumstance. It's a matter of whether it's the best use of your time. I always say that in marketing, if you're more of a salesperson and not a marketer, then outsource your marketing. If you're more of a marketer but not a salesperson, outsource your sales. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Sorry, real quick. So you had said that, 4 to 6 hours for the whole month. Is your cadence generally like 2 times a week, or, are you like 3 or 4, or what do you feel from an algorithm perspective is the best amount?
The algorithm report that you're actually seeing featured here, it varies. The gist of it is 3-4 times a week is good.
Okay.
And you use different content at different days of the week and at different times of day. This is where the algorithm report comes in and gives you the information that you need in order to make sure that things are maximized. For instance, there's more traffic from your target audience on, say, a Wednesday or Thursday. So that's when you would want to do a post on, I don't know, the difference between search engine optimization and answer engine optimization. But Monday or Tuesday, you got, a new company mug or something, treated yourself to some branding stuff. That's more personal. You want to have a picture of yourself with that information. You want your audience to engage with it. You want to have it be more fun, but you also want to give it a little more time to bake. The longer that those posts are going to get higher engagement, more likes, more comments, more things like that, but they're not necessarily dense. They're not necessarily from your target audience. They're from people who know you. So that extends the lifetime of that particular post. So that particular post of you having a picture of yourself is going to stay in people's feeds for days to come. So you don't need to post it on a Thursday. It's better to save that for when your audience is on there.
Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. Okay, cool. I assume similar with, like, for example, like case studies or anything else, it's more the content stuff that you really want them to see to be the thought leader. Then the other stuff can be sprinkled in there in terms of like personal and blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Exactly. And to your point, you're going to see it in just a second. I can't send you this report, the Just Connecting Algorithm Insights in October update, because It's copyrighted. It's property of Just Connecting and Richard Vanderbloom. And it was also $150. But I do have some clips of the information here. I'm going to ask you not to take screenshots, but Patty, maybe you wouldn't mind sending the link where you can purchase this report if you want to. The first edition of the report came out in 2024, and the 25 update was in February 2025, the October update in October 2025. But the 2026 version of the report came out comes out in April. And if you purchase the 2025 report, you also get the update and you get the 2026 report for free.
Sounds like a pretty good deal.
It is, but there's rules. You'll see. Regine, this will be available on the AAF Houston Zoom. So these are just a couple of clips of the LinkedIn algorithm report to give you some information. Now, you don't have to use this report. You can use any authoritative source that you trust to guide your actual posting schedule. But this is the one that I like because I find it the most authoritative, and I've read this thing back to front 3 times. That's a 250-page report and an 80-page update. And the next one in 2026 is probably going to be even longer and more detailed. But I specialize in LinkedIn, so I read it. You're seeing my actual highlights and what I find to be the most relevant from these pages.
Fascinating.
So now we're going to feed our same thread that we used in Perplexity to create our content pillars. We're going to feed it some information from the algorithm report about writing LinkedIn captions. There's 250 pages in the report for 2025. There's 80 pages in the update. You don't need to do everything, but we want to give it the information we want it to give. And the report itself has very strict usage guidelines. You cannot upload it in whole to any AI tool, but you can take certain portions of it with PDF, make smaller versions for certain sections and use that information, or copy it into a document like I showed you with Google Docs and export that as a PDF. You can take the information inside of it and you make your own prompting documents. You just can't upload the entire thing. It's against the copyright position. I checked with the company. So what I'm doing is perfectly allowed. I created user agreement compliant documents. You can see here, different versions of certain information that are relevant to whether I'm writing a LinkedIn newsletter for a client, whether I'm writing caption for a video, whether I'm writing a poll. I made these versions myself and they comply with the agreement. I also made, for when I'm doing a LinkedIn profile for somebody, I took screenshots of the back end so that it could see what I need to fill out and use the information in the algorithm report accordingly. So we're asking Perplexity to read them, certain ones, not all of them, but we're asking it the structure and format guidelines, the guidelines for a text plus image post, and some other background information. And we're asking it for guidance based on what's in the information. So it's extracted the information. It's extracted the information that I gave it from the snippets of the report that are user compliant. And it's giving me some best practices. I don't know if you can, I know it's a little blurry, I'm sorry. That's just kind of how it is, but it tells me what the best practice is, how it aligns with Alex, and how to use it. It says here 2 or 3 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday mornings, 3 to 5 hashtags, so forth and so on. In our case, for this demonstration, we're doing just text and image posts. That's the most common type of post on LinkedIn. And there's different science behind optimizing text-only posts, polls, so forth and so on, like we said. So I'm asking it to tell me everything I need to know from these attachments about how to turn the expanded brain dumps that I showed you into optimized text and image posts, making extra sure, telling it not to write the posts yet. Just give me the information that I need in order to write them. It did exactly as I asked. It gave me more information to help train the Perplexity space. For instance, it says here, use vertical images, use personal photos, use infographics, ensure the image adds value to the emotion of the message, things like that. It gave me exactly what I wanted it to give me, just information from the report that apply to Alex for image and text posts only. Did a good job. And there's my answer. So looks like I forgot to add a question slide for that. Questions about using LinkedIn algorithm.
No, but I have a different question.
What's that?
With Perplexity, I use ChatGPT way too much, but in general, I'm looking at other options. And with Perplexity, do you have to, like when you upload content or a file, does it remain in the system or do you have to like upload it every time you do a new project? Or I know that's like not at all related to this, but I was just curious.
It is related to this
Okay,
because
cool.
with Perplexity, you can add things to your Perplexity space. So it will always reference certain pieces of information.
Okay,
For
got it.
instance, if, I don't know, Jill, if you were my client, I would have a space in Perplexity for you for when I'm doing your LinkedIn content. If I'm writing your blogs, I would have another space with much of the same information, but attachments for, you know, a prompting document that applies more to your blogs than to your LinkedIn posts. It depends on your purpose. I like to make sure that everything is done just so that it's methodical and really carefully prompted. It saves work for me in the long run. But you got to be careful because whatever you upload to any AI tool, you never really know where it's going to go.
Right.
Anything that's proprietary to your company or trade secrets, you don't want to upload those to AI. That's where you would call Alex Romero, who is my model, and you would ask him to make you a custom AI bot that is designed to be able to handle that proprietary information.
Okay, got it. Or Copilot, I think maybe. I don't know if that's
I don't
Maybe.
really use Copilot that much. I don't know how good or bad it is. I just don't personally need it because I'm a one-person show and I have contractors that I work with who do the things that I'm not really good at. But
right.
give it a shot. If Copilot works for you, Copilot works for you.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I was just curious to know if you had heard that. Okay, cool. So documents upload once. I assume same with like the branding stuff. Cool.
Yes.
Awesome.
So we only have about 12 minutes left. I'm going to go into the next part, which is the actual get to the point. Here's where you actually do the doing. You upload your brand voice document and your content pillar information and your result of the algorithm report to Perplexity and ask it if it has enough information to turn these brain dumps that you have into scientifically sound, optimized LinkedIn posts that correctly capture the personality of the person. If you have keyword research done for yourself or for the company, add it now. For those who may not know, keyword research has to be, you don't just put something into ChatGPT and say, give me the keywords. You're going to make a terrible, terrible, very expensive mistake. Use a real keyword research tool. But make sure you tell it not to write the post yet. Don't let it write the post for you until you tell it to. Just ask it to review the materials and confirm that it understands. You want to make extra sure that you're giving it every opportunity to do what you ask it to do correctly. It confirms that it understands. So now we're going to give it back the same brain dump results, the expanded brain dump that it gave us earlier in the thread, or if you saved it to a PDF, attach it back here. So it wrote our LinkedIn posts, but it didn't do what we asked. It didn't apply the LinkedIn guidelines closely enough. It gave us just paragraphs. It gave us, I don't know if that's supposed to be just the title for our benefit or if it's supposed to be in there all the time. You see people on LinkedIn with a title for their post, it looks ridiculous. No hashtags, no formatting. It didn't follow the instructions closely enough. And it sounds way too promotional. There's way too many AI tells. It's not just a nice to have. No, this isn't the quality that I want for a client. So we're going to ask it to try again instead of editing the prompt. We're going to ask it to follow the instructions more carefully. And please don't use too many AI tells. Like, you have the brand voice document. You can do better than this. So it tries again. It got closer, but this still doesn't sound like Alex, and it's way too dense. It's not what we asked for. So we're asking it to please look again at the brand voice document and make sure it sounds like Alex. Almost there. Not quite. It's not quite what we want. And we could, take it and rewrite it by hand. Or we could use Perplexity to do a lot of that for us and get it closer to 90%. It has the option to rewrite something using Claude or Gemini, Claude Reasoning, so forth and so on. It's even got more result options now from 6 months ago when this was recorded. I'm going to use Claude Sonnet because that's my favorite rewriting tool. So let's see what it gives us. Much better. It even gave us multiple posts for the same topic. That's not what we asked it to do, but that's okay. Much better. It's got information in there. It's got actual quotes from the transcript. It's got descriptions. It's got stories. It's got variations in the sentence length. It's got variations in the paragraph length. It's got a question in there for your audience. This is the kind of structure that LinkedIn will support, or its algorithm will support. It forgot hashtags, but we just ask it to generate some. So we're going to choose this post to go up first. This one is about how the last thing you want to do is say, oh, we'll clean up the data later. Just go ahead and use it. You're making a terrible, terrible mistake. So I whipped up an image in Canva. I actually have a designer on my team. And usually for something with keyword research and with this level of thought leadership, I usually prepare like 10 posts on a certain series in advance and then send them to my designer to do them. But for the purposes of this demo, we use Canva, and for most people, Canva will do fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. It matters a lot more that you're consistent than that everything is perfectly polished. And I think it's coming out pretty good. So you can put the text from Perplexity into your content management system. I use Notion to keep everything organized so that if I'm having to reuse information or reference information from earlier, it's right in there. Or you can put it into your scheduling tool like this. This is Loomly, my favorite scheduling tool, and I use it for my clients so that they don't have to see everything in an Excel spreadsheet. It's they have access to be able to, if they want to just change 1 or 2 words, they can just make the change themselves, don't have to worry about sending it back to me. And they can use it to schedule their own posts if they want. Or if you want, you can go ahead and put it right in LinkedIn itself. It just depends on how organized you are. And it's done. So if your documents don't need any adjustment, if your brand voice document is good, your content pillar document is good, your LinkedIn algorithm directions are good, you're going to put them back into Perplexity in the back end as sources. I like to include the original transcript, but it depends on what transcripts you have. So that way, this Perplexity space will always be able to reference this information in answer to your question. And we did it. We're done. That's how you do it.
I'm going to watch this video 15, 16 times from now. So,
Good.
or as the kids say, 6, 7.
No, don't say that. You're going to hurt people. Now, again, please remember, never just copy something from AI and slap it in your LinkedIn. It's a terrible mistake. There is no one algorithm. It's a series of different functions. And the most effective thing you can do is comment and participate and engage on the platform consistently and regularly. Do you have any more questions? We're going to pause for questions. I know we only have a few more minutes, but this is where you can get in touch with me if you have any more questions after the fact.
One quick question about the last point that you had on there. I've been getting prompts from LinkedIn to participate in certain comment groups or whatever. Is that LinkedIn's way of saying, we looked at what you do and we think you're a subject matter expert. We want you to weigh in on this question or comment or post?
Yes, it's a little bit self-serving that it does that. It wants more people using it, and it wants people doing things in the groups. There's a whole section in the LinkedIn algorithm report about groups, but they are worth responding to, because the more you comment with with things inside your brain, and the things that it's suggesting to you are the more thought leadership focused and information dense pieces of content, the better it's going to be for your business.
Roger that.
This may be tactical, Rebecca, but do you see anything in that algorithm report that tells us to, I'm seeing a lot of posts that have bold, or they're using Unicode, or they're kind of manipulating the text in some way. And I have heard that could lead to some suppression. Is that true? Have you heard that?
I haven't heard that, and I can't recall anything in the LinkedIn algorithm report or the update that says anything about using different code. It does say things about different languages, but I think that the goal is to make sure that the information is authentic and relevant to the user and not self-serving. And as long as you do that, you can use the code like you're describing if you want, but it's not going to help or hurt anything in the long run.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else? Okay, we are right at time. So like I said, if you need anything, if you have any questions, just shoot me over an email or visit purplepagemarketing.com. And this recording will be available for you later on the AAF Houston Zoom, or sorry, not Zoom, YouTube.
Marvelous. Simply marvelous.
I hope you all got some good information and that you enjoyed this, even though it was a lot. And your brain, like I said, your brain may hurt for a few hours, but it'll wear off.
And
Thank you, Rebecca.
thank you for everybody. We will be sending out the link to the YouTube channel, and also, again, probably the link to the report as well that you can refer back to.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you, and everybody have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.